So I'm here with Becky, and Becky and I have been working for quite a while. I've been her coach through the process of writing a book. Becky, why don't you just start off by telling them a little bit about your job?
Yes. So I have a big job. I have a crazy stressful job. And so for me, I feel like it was really important to get support for writing because honestly, even though I have a big job and I'm successful at work, I have a call to write and I knew I wanted to write novels, and I had tried for years and years and years and years to balance work, life, and then my creative efforts. And I just needed more support. And I'm the kind of person who, if I commit to another person, I'm going to make it happen and I'm going to get it done. Whereas when I was kind of trying to take the whole load on my own, it's easy for me to put aside my own personal goals because I have to satisfy all these other things in my life. So, having a commitment to getting coached and having support through my writing, I think that just really made a difference for me. And it helped me finish that book.
Yeah, great. And how long before we started working together, how long had you been wanting to write a book?
Oh my word. I mean, I had different writing practices. I'd gone to writing workshops, easily 25 years or longer. I mean, since
Wow.
I was in college. And so many decades before we started working together.
I'm just curious, before you started this process of working on the book, how many hours per week did you think it might take to get the book done?
I'm sure I thought that it would take much longer. But remember, I mean, we set a kind of an aggressive goal, but I gave myself like two parts. It was this many months or this many months. And I ended up using the longer stretch of time, but the overall time was still so much shorter than I would have thought was required for me to finish a full draft of a novel. 80,000 words.
And 80,000 words in that longer stretch of time, maybe people think it's a year or 2 years. How long was it?
It was 6 months.
Yeah,
I wanted to do a draft in 4 months, 4 to 6 months, and it took 6 months for the first draft.
great for an 80,000 word book.
Yes.
So you talked about the importance of working with someone to keep you accountable. What other challenges do you think got in the way of you working on the book?
Well, the old saying that everyone has that writing is so solitary, but it's kind of true. When it's just you and a blank piece of paper or a screen, you do have to kind of shore up your own energy to make that effort. And again, I think accountability, but also just being able to talk to you about different ideas I had, bounce things off of you. And I think it was really important for me just to get a good first reader to give me your opinion about things that you really liked or things that you weren't clear about. Anytime that you told me I wasn't really sure what this section was about, when I went back, I was like, oh, yes, I see why. And then I could fix it. So that was
Right.
just really helpful.
Great. And then tell them your job title and how many hours per week you typically spend at work.
My title at work is Vice President of Production and Marketing and Sales. And
And
oh, I
everything else.
and everything else. And I easily spend, I'm sure, 60 hours a week on work.
And how many hours per week do you think you spent on the book?
Um, I think I set pretty reasonable goals because I know that I'm not going to be able to write, 3 or 4 hours at a time daily. So when we set the goal to have 20 minutes, at least 20 minutes a day, where even if I'm not writing, I'm in a writerly frame of mind. And so that just made it manageable for me to just pick away a chunk at a time, a day at a time.
What would you tell someone who has limited bandwidth and they believes they need to wait a few months after they retire, after they get the promotion, after the conference in order to start writing the book?
I would say that just about all of us have 20 minutes of time that we spend doing something that isn't working toward our dreams and goals for ourselves personally, like playing solitaire on my phone or, you know, reading news. We can all do a little less of those kind of things and spend 20 minutes, 40 minutes, 15 minutes working on your own goals and dreams. So
Great. And what can you tell someone who believes they need to turn down business or write 10 to 20 hours per week just to finish the book?
it's always good to just start. If you think that there's going to be a perfect time that opens up in your busy schedule that is going to start opening up that says right here, that's not going to happen. I would tell people do it. Just do it. Start. Even if you only have 2 hours in the whole week, that's 2 hours more than zero.